As always, it knows when it's turned on. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thank you to the United Nations and to Electrobots for having me here today. I'm honored because I get to talk about something that I absolutely love. It's about infrastructure. So we're going to talk a little bit about things specifically related to electric vehicles, but more importantly, what a smarter future looks like and what the importance of infrastructure is from our perspective at Siemens. As the slide says, my name is Peter. I work for the Mobility and Logistics Division of Infrastructure in Cities. Where does that fall into? Siemens is a big company. We basically are divided into 4 sections. We have energy, industry, healthcare, and supporting all of those industries is infrastructure in cities. It's a sector that we created approximately 8 to 9 months ago because we believe that infrastructure in cities and the related technologies, as we try to solve the problems that you've heard today about urbanization and population growth, this is really our future. Within infrastructure in cities, there's a mobility division. That's where I work. I'm the chief technical advisor. I oversee technology for roads, rail, air, and logistics. And within that group is electric vehicles and electric vehicle technology. I also work with my colleagues in building technologies and smart grid infrastructure in order to develop complete solutions for cities. We've heard a lot about this today. We talked about a problem that we might face in the future. 10 billion people in 20 years. The truth is we have a problem now. And we don't really have a good way out of that problem. We don't have a green model city. We have the beginnings of humanity trying to work on that problem, where you see the academic community, the public governments and the private sector and the NGOs all coming together to try to kind of wrap their heads around what a solution could look like. We're going to talk a little bit about today what that means. This is an issue not only for my organization, so what I do professionally, it also means a lot to me personally. And that's why I flew here from New York. I am a dad, I have 3 kids, and I'm committed to letting them inherit not only some of the problems that our generations before them have created, but solutions as well. One thing that's important as we look from a global perspective is that we have a lot to learn from each other when it comes to cities. Each of us have solved different problems, we've solved them in different ways, and we need to come together as a global community to kind of share those lessons learned, share the different approaches that we have, so that together we can come up with a more holistic approach to solving these problems. Here you can see some benchmarks. Cities like in Brazil that are taking leadership positions. I'm from New York, as you can see. We have quite a ways to go there. We have a lot to learn from our friends down here. We talk about technology a lot. We talk about batteries and grids and cars and trucks. But there's more to it. We have some of the success factors here. In Sao Paulo alone, it's about policy. Where do we want to go? Where are we setting the direction for? And that has to play a role in the dialogue as well. In addition to the technology that we're providing, like Siemens in building automation, providing driverless metro in Latin America. We also have the premier driverless rail system in New York. So it's a balance. When it comes to electric vehicles, we have a lot of products in a lot of different areas. We have public charging, fleet charging, private charging, fast charging, slow charging, wireless charging, charging management. We have the components that are necessary if somebody wants to put a charging station in their house. A lot of times, especially for older homes and older infrastructure, they also need to upgrade the electrical infrastructure, not smart grid, just home grid, in order to support some of these technologies. In the cars, we also have developed electric drivetrains. I'll talk a little bit about the importance of that, especially as we talk about solving the total transportation and carbon reduction goals that we have. From a wireless charging perspective, we actually already have success. We have invisible fuel, if you will. We can do private charging, also public charging, so wireless charging on the road. From a software perspective, software is going to play a huge role here, not only from the electric vehicle side, but also from the smart grid side, demand response being one of those. We make it easy to pay, easy to find charging stations. It doesn't matter whether it's mobile. We also have technology for the fleets in order to manage their charging stations, so there's a lot of technology that goes behind this in addition to what people have access to. And we provide pretty much soup to nuts. Here you can see kind of an ecosystem of what that looks like. You need a lot of communication. You need really robust hardware, obviously, to survive all the different temperature ranges you have around the world. And organizations like Siemens have the experience, being in transportation for over 100 years to really kind of help us move forward from an EV perspective. One hugely important issue here is the grid. We heard a lot about that today. We talked about smart grid. Maybe we can talk a little bit about dumb grid. We centrally produce a lot of energy. About 80% of it is lost through distribution. And that's nothing wrong. That's essentially our legacy. Our systems and our infrastructure is based on an industrial era mentality. Highly centralized, highly hierarchical, highly compartmentalized. This is something that we see not only within our infrastructure, but something we see socially as well. And what we see is that the built infrastructure in various asset classes are moving along with directions that humanity is taking as well. And that's pretty much the story behind smart grid. You see a much more nimble, a much more agile, a much more highly distributed system that is network interdependent, a lot like our economy is becoming, a lot like our social interactions are becoming. And then when we call that smart, you see various different technologies at the bottom here that kind of are outputs of that architectural shift from centralized to distributed. Demand response, for instance, is, again, really important. Energy is produced at the same rate all the time. We don't use energy that way, and the more smartphones and electric vehicles we have, the more that's going to have an impact, because when you have to produce energy in peak, you have an extreme cost. We're talking about really expensive gas turbines and other issues. It's not only electric vehicles that are contributing to this problem, everything is. Our laptops are really everything. Our cell phones, just the way we live is changing. It's consuming more electricity than we can produce. When we take a look at this, and we take a look at all the products I just showed you, what we see is essentially a menu of things that you can use to solve the problem. And the problem is often approached from that menu side. So we look at specific solutions, whether it be carbon technology for lighter vehicles, better storage on batteries, smart grids. What's equally important and what really needs to be a bigger part of the dialogue, and I think that's where organizations like the UN are doing a great job, is we need to set an intention. We need to take a systems approach to solving this problem. There's a huge ecosystem of things that take place in order to make this successful and to help us achieve the future that we're trying to set. What is that future? What does it look like, and what are we doing about it? I think that's something that we can collectively do a lot better job of setting and articulating and agreeing upon and collaborating on. And until we have both the technologies and the engineering and the science and the intention and the vision, I think then we have the right setting to make real progress. I'm just going to show you a little bit about how all these applications kind of come together. We are now working on a pilot. We did it in Germany. We will also be doing it in California. We have electric trucks. Trucks are consuming the lion's share of our dependency on foreign oil, on the ICE type engines. We can have electric passenger vehicles till the end, and we won't really move the needle on our carbon emissions. And so, from a truck's perspective, we have to have technologies that take us from where we are today to where we'd like to go. And this is one of those premier technologies. Here you see catenaries, kind of like what we saw before on the bus side. These have electric drivetrains which allow the truck in motion to get into the electric vehicle lane. When they're not on the electric vehicle lane, they switch back to their ICEs. And this provides an approach to electrify specific routes, bus routes for instance. A lot of fuel and progress can be made on the port side when we link with containers and shipping and distribution centers and logistics, where we know where these trucks are going to be. This is technology, again, that we have today. It's working, it works well. It uses technology that we've already had before, like in light rail vehicles, mostly in the rail industry. And so, if anybody's interested in this, I can show them a video of it actually working on a road in Germany during our coffee break. So here's a couple of pilots. Again, it's not only an ecosystem of technology, it's an ecosystem of partners and corporations. We are working with Volvo. We just completed our first pilot with BMW. We have an electric charging station that works wirelessly. The importance of working together is not so much the magnetic field that you heard about. I think we can get that to work. The problem is, how do you get cars off the lot, getting to the point where they already have the technology built in so that it makes it really easy for the consumer to use this technology in their homes. There has to be a partnership between companies like Siemens, who are experts in wireless power, and car companies who are on the OEM side. And together, we're actually innovating and providing technology that can be used today, and we're going to be going into the second phase of this project very soon. And in the interest of time, I'll just close quickly. I think the mayor here said it best. It starts and ends with people. I'm a technologist, I'm a chief technology advisor, so I'm not criticizing the importance of technology. But what I've realized working all over the world, working in different asset classes, different modes of transportation is, in the end, it's about people working together, knowing where we want to go, and then holding hands and getting there together. And with that, I'll conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.